Hi everyone, welcome to today's lesson where we're going to look at The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Now, this is a very popular poem. It's done at both Leaving Cert and Junior Cert. Can be read on a number of different levels. But the essence of this is about decision making and how we as humans approach decision making, and that certain decisions have to be made in life and we can never come back and undo those decisions. Okay, so Frost uses the metaphor for decisions as the road not taken, that fork in the road. So if you imagine just a road in two different directions, okay, so the walker is coming up and he has to make a decision. Now, I often use the examples of a student doing their Leaving Cert and Galway and Dublin is on the table. Now, they must make a decision, and if you decide to go to Galway, you'll never be in a position to come back to that moment at 17 or 18 to decide then you want to go to Dublin. And when you go to Galway, you'll then be faced with other forks in the road, which means you'll be gone down that road so far that you'll never make your way back to the original place. And that's what life is about. It's about decision making. So we're going to look through the poem and we're going to just explain it as we go. It's a simple poem, but there's a lot to discuss in it. So, two roads diverged in a yellow wood. So, this is the diverged we're talking about. They go off in different directions. And sorry I could not travel both and be one traveller. So, he was sorry he couldn't go both. So, he wanted to go to Galway and Dublin, which can't happen. And I suppose as humans, a recent word that to describe humans is FOMO, the fear of missing out, is when we make a decision, we always think, wouldn't it be great to go somewhere else or to do the other thing that we talked about? So sorry I could not travel both and be one traveller. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could. So he tried to look down the path. So he tried to look down here, but it started to bend to where it bent in the undergrowth. And that's a bit like when we're making decisions. We try and see where these decisions will lead us, but there's only so far we can see. At some point that road bends and we can't see around it. We don't know if we decide to go to Galway what life will bring. We don't know if we decide to go to Dublin what life will bring. Split-second decisions can have lasting impacts in life. There was a film in the late 90s called Sliding Doors, and it was a woman coming out of the airport and the doors are about to close, and the film follows two lives that she leads. Okay, so it follows her life had she made the doors and she's out, and then it follows her life as if she didn't make the doors. And there's two completely different lifestyles she leads based on one split-second moment in her life. So those decisions, it's about like getting into a car with someone who maybe you think mightn't be a safe driver and what that might lead to. Okay, so that's the first verse. So he's looked down the road. He's sorry that he couldn't travel both. He tries to look down as far as he can see, but it's bent in the undergrowth. So he then took the other as just as fair and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. So after looking down one road, he decides to take the other. Now, it was grassy and wanted wear. It suggests that it's not the popular route, okay? So, not the popular route. Now, he changes his mind here, you'll notice shortly. But he's basically saying that had the better claim, it was grassy and wanted wear. So, it wasn't the decision that everyone made. It wasn't the popular thing to do. Maybe he's been a bit of a rebel here. Maybe he's been his own man, doesn't want to follow the crowd. Though, as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. So, he's changed his mind there again. And he said, they're both, and I suppose he's highlighting there as humans, we change our opinion. Maybe when he was on it then, he realised it was just the same as the other one. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Okay, so there's maybe a bit of regret that he can't come back and take that decision again and go the other way. So he would like to take the other road. But sometimes in life, that's not possible. We can't come back in time. We don't have time machines as much as we would like. So that's what he means there. Yet knowing how way leads on to way. Now that's an important line. So we don't know, I'm not very skilled on the whole artistic thing. So we've done here, we have two roads, But as you go down this road, it will eventually veer off into different ways as well. So do you go what role you go into, what profession you go into, and it'll all lead you down different directions. It could lead you down to you living in Beijing. It could lead you to living in Boston. It could mean living at home. All these things. So he's basically saying that way leads on to way, is that with each decision will bring more decisions. I doubted if I should ever come back. So he knew in his heart that he would never reach that fork in the road again. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. So he'll be saying that's the suggestion again that he may regret this. But I think that the last lines are a bit more optimistic. Two roads diverge in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by. So he took the road less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. There's a suggestion here that he picked his own path, and he's happy with it. He picked his own path, he's happy, and it's made a difference in his life. So maybe there's a suggestion here that we should take the road less travelled by sometimes, that we don't follow the crowd. So that's just a very short reading of the poem. It's a very quick one. It's a short poem. You'll have done it in class already, so it's important you read over your notes and answer the question. So if you're doing it for junior cert, this would probably be enough. If you're doing it for leaving cert, a more in-depth reading would be needed. Thanks everyone for listening, and I hope that was beneficial.